So we've been messing with this G82 for a little bit, and as I'm sitting in this thing, I'm realizing how intense
technology
all of the steering wheel controls have gotten on cars these days. There's a lot of stuff packed into these things, and there's also some various steering wheel options these days. And I'll tell you, I still get like a kid on Christmas Day when some parts come in. You know, early on, I was just so excited every time I would get a new part, the UPS man would come. Well, I still feel that way, and I really am excited about this Zestek OEM hub. They also have racing hubs. This Zestek steering wheel option. So let's open this thing up, see what we've got in the box. So pumped on this thing. I played with it a little bit last night while I was trying to prepare and understand what exactly I'm about to be doing, but open it up. You got some decals, which are important to know how to label all the things that you program on here, because it is fully programmable, fully customizable to your liking.
The possibilities are endless. Wow.
You know, you've got your resume, set, cruise buttons, volume buttons, M1, M2, a lot of the staples that you need to put on here. And here is the baby. I just want to push all the buttons and click all the things, turn all the knobs, click all the paddles.
Like Bop It!
It's pretty sweet. I'm pretty excited about this thing. So all these buttons are configurable to whatever you want from the factory options on the steering wheel. So, you know, you want to make the shifter a horn. You can make the shifter a horn. But we can go through all the options for what to configure this thing. All the LEDs on here are configurable for a full range, so you can set them, set the brightness, but all kinds of options. You know, turn dials, they push too for different options, which when there are so many features packed into the factory wheel, you kind of got to have a lot of different options to be able to fit all of those onto this thing. And Zestek kind of killed it and was able to get everything able to be in here, including the active cruise control stuff and all of those features. So we'll dive into the programming piece of it in a second. Another thing I want to point out is this quick release. This is not just a standard quick release with a pin connector, which has a female and a male pin. This is flat contacts here for what would be equivalent of the female portion. And then in here, these pins are spring-loaded, so you don't have the risk of misaligning this thing and getting the pins all jacked up and then bending a pin and then losing connectivity, and well, that could be a problem for your steering wheel that you want to have connected properly. Also with these carbon paddles, these are magnetic paddle shifters that are adjustable. You can adjust them in and out, have a range of motion in here, so that's pretty sweet to be able to kind of dial it into, okay, maybe I've got a 330 mil wheel, maybe I've got a 350 mil wheel, and I need to move it in or out to match my hand size or whatever my comfort is. We went with a 350 mil wheel from our friends at O&P. A flat wheel, just so that it's a little bit closer to the paddles. A big dished wheel may get everything a little bit further away and tougher to push the buttons. Let's go ahead and dive into a bit of the programming piece of this. Can't forget, what else is in the box? So you get your hardware to install it, you get your USB cable to program it to your, hook it up to your computer, you get your connection from the hub to the car, but really this is the magic. And this is a piece that sandwiches between the male bolt-on hub and the car, and this piece holds all of the technology to be able to communicate from this to the car seamlessly, like a plug-and-play installation. It is a plug-and-play installation. And they've got these for different cars. So this F80 back here has one of these in it already. And basically we can take this wheel, take it out of here, put it over there, not do anything, and it's just gonna work. It's gonna already know how it needs to be programmed for that and just work in that application as well. So that's kind of an awesome piece of technology with this. And they've got them for E-cars as well, so E chassis, F chassis, G chassis, all of them to integrate in a plug-and-play form. So let's get programming a little bit. All right, so real simple. Zestek makes it pretty easy. Go to the website, zestek.net, download their software, and then it's gonna want you to connect your hub to the PC. So using the cable provided, on the back, there's a USB-C port. Oh, and now everything's lighting up. Oh, didn't plug it in. Now we're lighting up. All right. So you get there, you can select your chassis. Oops. Select your chassis, which were G chassis, start settings. There's kind of some cool stuff. You can change how the startup effect is on it when you first plug it in. We've got different animation settings for that. Let's go with something fancy, something dazzly. We're gonna go effect 4. Change the brightness. Also change nighttime brightness, which I think is handy. And then each one of these, click on the shifters, shift up, shift down, or I can change any of these options. I made this top left button M1, top right M2. Got some switches here. You can make, I've got them horn because I had some leftover stuff. I got a little bit lost into how I would, maybe not how I would want it configured, but this is the car that James drives, so whatever way I configure this thing, I can almost guarantee you he's gonna be like, hey, why did you configure that? Active cruise control, you know, this thing, these rotary knobs have all kinds of action because you can push down on it, push up, down, left, right, dial it. So there's a lot of different ways you can manipulate things. It's pretty complex, and all this stuff, I mean, so much stuff you can select. Anything from the factory options, you can program to your liking. I made the M1 and M2 buttons red, just kind of like factory they're red, and I thought that was simple and clean. I made these blue for BimmerWorld purposes, but can make them green, blue, purple, whatever color you want. You know, pretty awesome to be able to configure them however you want. So all you gotta do is save it. It's done. Now we're ready to throw this thing on. And you can program this thing when it's on the car. Doesn't matter, I'm just doing it real quick while it's out of the car anyways.
Pretty user-friendly?
Yeah, it is actually. It was super easy. I don't find myself to be a technical wizard, but found it pretty simple and easy to use. So, idiot-proof maybe? Where do I want to start? Do I want to start with getting this off or getting the wheel on? Oh, by the way, there is a hub available. So for whatever chassis, there's an F8X hub, G8X hub, G8X hub, you know, whatever it is, they have a hub to be able to make this, complete the bolt-on package for your car. I am going to start with putting the wheel onto the Zestek unit. So we went with a 350 wheel. I don't know, maybe I touched on this already, but we went with a 350 mil wheel. Some people like a 330 mil wheel. I prefer a 350 mil wheel, even in my race cars. I know that 330 mil wheels are like, oh, well, it's smaller, it's tighter, it gives you better response, but I actually like the feel and the size of a 350 and able to, especially in a street car, see through the wheel. That smaller wheel blocks a lot of vision to the instrument cluster, so my preference is a 350. So they do have this nice little carbon sandwich plate that you can put back on the front if you would like. I'm going to go with our little BimmerWorld steering center cap. Do be careful during this part of the process. There are wires here that are dangling and don't want to damage anything. Sandwich. You hungry? It's still early.
Sandwich.
What kind of sandwiches do you like? You a ham and cheese guy? You a turkey, a roast beef?
Turkey and cheese, but then also just honey and peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter honey, man.
Yeah.
That takes me back. I haven't had a peanut butter honey in a hot minute.
Yeah. I was doing those for lunch here pretty consistently for a while.
Gosh, this thing, once you put a wheel around it, it already looks amazing. I'm a little afraid to go ahead and put the stickers on the buttons, because it'll lock it in to whatever James wants. But I think he's gonna be stuck with whatever I decide, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these stickers on too.
Gotta do it for the video.
I know, it's gotta look complete. All right, I need an M1. James is also gonna get really irritated if I put these on crooked, so I kind of want to just put them on like slightly crooked. Or that's gonna be my excuse at least. I don't think I'm gonna have to do this on purpose for putting them on crooked. I think I'm gonna do it naturally. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Looks all right from here.
Oh, nope. Just a little off center.
Is that other sheet just a backup sheet?
Yeah. I don't know if the other sheet is included or if it gave us an extra sheet. Phone. Ring, ring. You think that goes that way or that way?
Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I think that way.
You think that way?
Yeah.
We're going that way.
All right.
Oh, it's a little crooked. Shoot. You guys probably can't hear this in the background, but we got Enrique Iglesias, Living La Vida Loca going on right now, and I just am ready to jam a little bit. Ah! I was just corrected. Ricky Martin. Enrique Iglesias, what am I talking about? Whatever, that won't make the cut.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
So this obviously is the OEM hub version. They have racing hub versions. So like if you have a standalone ECU and you can link to it, you can use these buttons to program pretty much anything that you want. Boost control, traction control, whatever it is, through this system to your standalone ECU, which pretty awesome to be able to take advantage of all of that.
So since those joysticks can be like pushed in or up or down or twisted, could you have them do like multiple stickers worth of stuff?
Yeah, so the sticker, because they do have all these options, the sticker that I'm putting on the top is for down. And in general, it's gonna kind of say what the purpose of this is. So this controls a lot of cruise control functions. So I'm gonna put the active cruise control button on here, which is to activate the active cruise control. And then I made the I made the left to change the distance down because that's the left button on the factory steering wheel, and the right to make the distance up because that's the right on the factory steering wheel. Up is limit, down is to change the drive mode, and the dial is cruise down -5, cruise up +5. Yeah, a lot of stuff just in this one rotary dial. Look at that thing, it's fancy. Let's move on to getting this thing in the car. Gonna disconnect the battery because anytime you mess with an airbag, disconnect the battery so it doesn't blow up in your face or cause any alarms. All right, this is always a little bit of a tough thing for me to remember how to do. Dave, are you good at this?
Nope.
I did one recently, so I'm hoping that I can use that recent knowledge to know exactly where to put this screwdriver to get this airbag off. Woo! All right. Maybe I'm figuring out how to do that. Airbag off. What else we got to get out of here? Unplugged. Yeah, hold that wheel. T60 socket, get your steering wheel loosened, unplug everything, and there she blows. Got a plug back here, undo, done. We are removed. So this hub has some cutouts for these openings here. All right, the hub's lined up. This thing clearly had some blue Loctite on it, and the torque spec is 62.5 Newton meters. So a little blue Loctite, and tighten this baby down.
I was like, what was that?
Rich coming in with some tools. No, we're not gonna impact it on, but we're gonna use an impact to get it close. Close. Let me get a pat. Let me get some, yeah.
A pad appears.
Pat should be the one holding it. Hold a wheel maybe. I probably should have plugged these in and then routed them through before I did this. We're gonna see if I can finagle this.
Not a lot of room in there.
Not a lot of room. That's one. This one's a little bit bigger. This one might be a little bit tougher. What's so funny, Rich? All right, I got it. But I do recommend plugging this harness in before you put the hub on. Next, the Magic control board that has all the technology built into it. Plug this baby in. Make sure I plug it in the right way. All right, so that gets sandwiched between this. And now we bolt it down. Whoo-wee, look at that thing. I want to push all the buttons. Hook the battery back up. All right, battery's plugged back in. Hook this baby up. Look at those fancy little lights flashing. And I see that one of the buttons is crooked. All right, whatever, too bad. Yes. Oh yeah. Volume's working, heads-up display is working, menu's working. All right, so something else that's pretty awesome about this that I touched on earlier is that, okay, well, now everything is in here, this is all set up here, we can take this to a different car. And if we put this in this F80 back here, lights up. Haha, works here too. Volume and everything works. Menu on the heads-up display. Oh yeah. Let's put this thing back in the G82, get this car out of the way, and I want to go feel this thing out on a test drive. Well, backing out of this thing and already just backing out of the garage, it just already feels like a different type of dynamic of a car. This thing, it's kind of wild how much a steering wheel just transforms the feel of things. Oh, hey, you wouldn't think something so simple could yield such an awesome feeling. Just grabbing those paddles, that's super engaging.
Have you driven this thing since it got the MCS and everything too?
Yeah, I test drove it with the MCS. We put those on, and I swear, even with a stiffer spring rate, the thing still rides super awesome. We got 289 remotes on this thing with the prototype test set of dampers that I'm pretty excited about, that allow fitment in the all-wheel drive cars as well as the rear-wheel drive cars, so that it kind of covers a broad base of things. Yeah. Cruise control work? Yes. Shows up on the heads-up display. You can see it there. Inactivated, activated. Yeah, the radio buttons work. Next track. Reduced view. Oh man, we got all kinds of stuff. Cruise up. Yeah. You see that working there?
Oh yeah.
And then I made this one +5. Yep. -5. Yep. Limit was up. That works. Man, everything works in this thing. This is amazing. All those functions from the factory steering wheel, which there's a lot of them packaged in this Zestek piece, and able to move them around, program them differently if you want. I have a feeling James may want to program these a little bit differently, but he'll deal with what he's got for right now. Another thing about this, no alarms, fully functional plug and play where I don't get an airbag light or anything. So it's pretty awesome to have no codes, no issues, just have it plug in and work. Super pumped on this thing, this Zestek piece. I mean, I said it at the start of this video, I feel like a kid on Christmas morning. I almost made these Christmas lights red and green just because, but the configurability, programmability of this thing is amazing. The feel of it's amazing. The way it just changes the dynamic of driving this thing, it's like, I mean, it makes me feel like I'm in a race car now. So if you're looking for an upgrade to upgrade the feel of your G8X, F8X, E9X, because they've got these options for all those cars, check it out, the Zestek wheel at BimmerWorld.com.
Ready to go?
Should be an awesome race weekend.
We are ready to kill it this year.
It's good.
It's going to be a wild ride.